Hi, and welcome to another weekly recap. So today I'm going to recap week 7, which extends from April 14 to April 18. So I was absent on April 18 due to personal reasons, so I didn't show up on the market. So I can show you from April 14 to April 17 what happened. Sorry, April 18 I saw. So only one trade I took in this week, so, and that was a losing trade. And yeah, that's actually a good loser. So let's jump into the screen and see what happened on this week. So let's start from the April 14. Let's start from April 14 and let's start from the daily time frame. So the daily time frame gives us the overall view of what the weekly is gonna do. I mean, the weekly market structure is gonna be like. So analyzing the daily is the first step to uh, get the directional bias before jumping into the lower time frames. So from the daily perspective, we can see that the daily as boss bullish, swing boss bullish, and internally it has made a boss bearish. But there is a caveat. There is no this PY does not have any inducement, so the only liquidity above would be uh, present above this high. So this internal boss bearish, I can consider this as fake, and one more, and price did not reach the discount. So probably this could be a manipulation run to trap all the early sellers who fear that the market is going to fill down and take all their stop losses away and eventually take this high. So this becomes my new swing low if the price takes out this high. So definitely that would, but and yeah, in this week the economic was actually the US was facing recession, which means the US is affected badly. So the overall pair GBP versus USD is going to rise, obviously. So knowing the fundamentals also helps you to predict the pattern easily. So in the 4-hour chart, you can see that the price at boss bearish and again it's going to boss bullish. So this is the extreme supply. So and there is a failed reaction from the supply, which is the first indication that the supply is going to fail. So if the supply fails, then I can look for some POIs right here and continue the bullish run until the price makes a strong bearish shift. Then I can take one loss and play the bearish pullback. From the H1 perspective, so this one is I consider this as my swing range because it swept a strong level of liquidity. So I can consider this as my strong low. And all the demands have been mitigated, and this is the only unmitigated demand that I can expect the price to mitigate and push further up. And it actually flipped this supply. It actually flipped the supply. It has inducement. It is also present in the discount. So and it also got some displacement associated with it. So it's a good POI to trade with. So once the price mitigates into this one, I can directly look into M15 entry models. I can take the trade. But price, stop when it reaches this POI. So price is reacting from the 4-hour supply and it has stock bearish. So price didn't pull back to give me a chance. It rather, you know, made a boss bullish and it did not even take out the buy sell liquidity above. So there is still some chance. So if the price did not take the buy sell liquidity and it pushes down, so I can look for some chalk bullish. So because now I look for chalk bullish because this POI is outdated. It is formed yesterday. So when I am analyzing tomorrow, this is an old POI. So I can't use an old POI with M15. So I need to see from fresh demand form, then I can look for longs and target the buy side liquidity above, which we marked in the daily chart. So this is the M15. So I thought of playing the pullback. So once the H1 was bullish, so there could be, and the H1 is also chalk bearish. So this is a supply which have liquidity, chalk bearish, displacement associated with it, and it is also coming off from a 4-hour supply. So I can play some pullback targeting the sell side liquidity below. So it would be a just quick in and out trade. But the thing here is this now price mitigated this POI only during the New York lull period, which I usually don't trade. So just want to show you. LC1 actually played out. So I could have taken entry, but here is 3 km candle, 3 p.m. candle. So my session ends at this candle. So I got this opportunity at 3:30, so which I don't like to trade. So that's it from April 14. So let's push on to April 15. So the daily structure is still the same. Price did not take out, did it? Yeah, price actually took out the price and liquidity above. So now we can expect some bearish reaction, but the overall objective is to keep pushing up. So this is the 4-hour chart. The 4-hour is actually boss bearish, boss bullish. So I can continue to look for longs till the price makes a strong bearish shift, after which I can understand that the price is going to make the swing pullback. And then this is the discount level, the 50% of the range. I can expect the price to pull back at least to the 50% of the range. That's completely a different story. But for now, this is the demand that is holding the price. I'm waiting for the price to mitigate this demand and continue the bullish trend. If the price wants to give a strong bearish reaction, then I want this demand to fail. Then I can look for trade from this flip zone. So yeah, I'm not stick to particular bias. Depending upon the price action, I'll look to play. So from the H1 perspective, H1 I consider this as a swing low because it swept enormous amount of liquidity and it has also got some displacement associated with it and an inducement associated with it. And this is called an equal loss. So a strong pool of liquidity is associated with this POI. So this could be a very strong demand where the price can give a bullish reaction. I am also looking for sells. If the price talks bearish, then I can look for sells targeting this POI. So if the price mitigates this POI, then I can look for chalk bullish and target this weak swing high. So that was the plan actually. Uh, Price made a pullback, did not mitigate this POI, but it mitigated. It did not. It just touched this POI and started to push up. So there was nothing much about this today. So the only thing that I can do is I can look for trade on this POI, but there is a much more high probability POI below with equal lows. So this POI is just inducement for this POI. So that's what my game plan says. So but on this occasion, price respected this POI and pushed further up. So most of the times it does not respect these kind of POIs, but this time it happened. It does not mean I need to include this in my game plan. It's just a once in a while. So uh, this POI was found, which means now this POI has got induced. So this POI will be inducement. So this becomes a valid POI. So that's how I trade. So price can respect this POI and push up, and this is also in the discount. So it can be valid, but time's up. There is no trade on this day. Uh, yeah. Actually, I thought of playing this POI. I don't know why, but I thought of playing this POI. So there was an LC1 here, LC1 and LC2B, to be precise, both formed. So looking for longs makes valid, but thankfully the session got ended. I didn't take any trades on this day. So coming to April 16, I think this is a day that I lost. April 16, yeah, losing trade. Let's have a pretty closer analysis on this day. So in the daily chart, what happened? Yeah, price made boss bullish in the daily. So this week is high. This week is strong. Why? Because it swept all the liquidity, manipulated, and then pushed up. So this is a strong low. But the only thing that I'm upset is that this does not have an inducement. So the only when the price wants to continue moving bullish, probably it will sweep the sell side liquidity below and then push up. So this is not a strong low. I mean, this low will be respected. The daily candle will not close below this low, but definitely it will wick below this low. And in the 4 hour, we have a clear boss bullish, and we have the slow resistance liquidity being built up. So probably, we can if the price chalk bearish, then obviously that would be a high probability for me to look for sells to target all the sell side liquidity below. So from the H1 perspective, price did not mitigate any POIs that I intended it to mitigate. So just marking the swing structure is very compact. So this is an inducement. This is a good POI from which I can look for trades directly, and this is also present in the discount. Inducement, flip of the inducement, displacement associated with it. So everything makes sense and present in the discount. Cool. Uh, yeah, price came down, mitigated this POI. So PLC2A, price came down, made a big break, and this was the lead. So this was my liquidity candle. I placed my trade. You can see the strong rejection of this POI. So placed just give a 1 pip displacement buffer and 1 pip stop loss buffer, but it did not work. Price just took out the liquidity above, which was my stop loss, and then it pushed down. So yeah, that's it. End of the game. Just tagged in and tagged out. I like these kind of losers because it gives the result instantaneously, right? So this is the EOD. This is how I lost the trade. And so did the price chalk bearish and did the 4 hour swing pullback start? No. Price just, liquidated the lows. Okay. Okay. Cool. Actually, I tried to play this POI. Okay, that's why I just got a losing trade. Now I understood. Yes, actually, the next POI was sitting right below the Asian low. So this was the POI that I should have traded, but yeah, I think it's not a good loser actually. Yeah, you can see the rejection coming off from this POI, right? Yeah. So this is actually the POI that I should have traded, but the POI price did not mitigate this POI within the session. So this was the 16. Okay, price. This was the only price action that played during the session. So I think it's not a good loser. I should change it to bad loser because it was FOMO trade. So let's also mention that in the comments. Yeah, that's definitely for more trade. Okay, cool. I'll just try to improvise it. Nothing much. Yeah, I knew that the PO was in the premium. This was one of the reasons the trade did not play out. Nevertheless, it was not a good trade actually. And played as per the plan, probably the price could was perish and the daily 4 hour swing back could be initiated. Probably, but not now. So this is the 4 hour chart, probably. Let me check once. Yeah, this is actually the 4 hour chart. So still the price did not was bearish. If only the price chalk bearish. If only the price chalks bearish, then I can look for shorts. So that's all about April 16. So let's jump into April 17 and see what happened. Oh yeah, the price stays same in the same area of value in the daily chart. So let's jump into the 4 hour chart where you can see that the price had actually chalked bearish. So now we got some liquidity above and this is the POI which we can look to target. But remember, price can just sweep some internal range liquidity and push up because of the current economic conditions. But in H1, that's not the case. H1 did not boss bearish. So chalk bearish in H4 does not mean boss bearish in H1. H1 there was just a weak break. We expect a candle closure and also there is some low resistance liquidity being built up here. So what I can expect is if the chalk bearish in the 4 hour is to hold, then this POI must hold and because it's got the peak inducement and it has flipped the supply, it has flipped the demand. So and it has also got some resting liquidity below. So if POI holds, I mean if the chalk bearish is to be true, then this is the good POI and where I can look for M15 LC2As and then play the 4 hour chalk in fractal structure. But caveat is two things can happen on this POI. One is the price took out the swing low, so it can flip the supply because and this high now becomes weak because it failed to take out this low. So this high can be weak, so this can be flipped and the price can take out the buy side liquidity above. Or price can respect the 4 hour chalk, I mean fractal structure, and this POI can be respected and it can take out the resting liquidity below. So two things can happen. So trading directly using M15 LC models is not valid as per the game plan. Why? Because when there are two things gonna happen, then I'll just stick to the H1 chalk for the confirmation. Mm. Cool. No worries. Uh, yeah, price actually internally was bullish, so it's kind of this high now becomes weak, and internal was bullish is now in line with the swing structure. So looking for longs is also valid. So yeah, I know there is some nesting liquidity and all those kind of stuffs, but I need to follow the market structure. And especially with the US in recession, so longs now become much more high probability. Okay, cool. This was the POI which I expected the price to you know mitigate and then push further up to continue this internal order flow. When the price mitigated this POI and this was a liquidity candle. And suppose if this candle had pushed taken out the liquidity below, then that would have been my trade because this is much smaller than this one. So if I placed risk entry right here, then that would have also been played out, but I'm not a big fan of risk entries. Yeah, that's it. The trade actually played out, but I didn't get the entry. So yeah, it is what it is. Sometimes your trade plays out, you won't get your entry. Sometimes I'll get my entry, but the trade does not play out. So it happens every time, a lot of times. So we must get used to that one. So yeah, that's it. I am actually absent on April 18th due to my personal reasons. Yeah, that's it. So only one losing trade, and that is actually a bad losing trade that took out of FOMO trade. So I just noted down. So when I was analyzing from from that day's perspective, it seemed like it was a good loser. But now I realize it's just a bad loser when seeing from a larger perspective. It, it's good to keep things tracked and yeah, just improvise, refine my psychology as well as my strategy so that I can make the most profit in the market. Yeah, see you guys on the next week from April 21 to April 28. So until then, cheers, guys.